spend a lot of my winter writing, signing all these brains, so that I can have the blow your brains out book tour this summer. Right now we've got a bunch of these brains. We're going to throw them out. Whoever gets their brain, 2 brains inflated first. First 2 brains. We'll get copies of 2 of my favorite books by other writers this summer. One of them is the novel, The Devil All the Time by Palahniuk. He had a short story collection called Knockers out a couple of years ago that was absolutely terrific. Knockers. And this year his book is called The Devil All the Time. The second one is a memoir by Lydia Yuknevich. It's published with a small press, so it's really hard to find, but it's called The Chronology of Water by Lydia Yuknevich. The first 2 brains will have a choice of either one or the other. So, right now, let's throw those brains out. The only chance I have is to hold on and keep flirting back and buying the drinks. She asks me where I'm headed, and I tell her Lollapalooza. She's walking her fingers up the front of my shirt, her fingertips stepping from snap to snap, from my belt up to my throat, then walking herself back down, and I'm hoping that she can't feel how hard that makes my heart beat. And she is such a flirt, with her green eyes cutting from side to side or peeking up at me from under her long, fluttering eyelashes. And she must be years and years ahead of me, because she keeps forgetting to end her sentences. And sometimes she points at something speeding by outside the window and she shouts, "A dog!" Or one time, she sees a car waiting at a rail crossing, and Britt screams, "Slug bug!" and she clobbers my shoulder with her fistful of Hello Kitty and Mickey Mouse rings. And secretly, I hope I have that bruise for the rest of my life. And we go to Lollapalooza, and we pitch my tent. And Britt is so drunk that when she wakes up the next morning, she is still drunk. And no matter how much doobie I smoke, I'm having trouble keeping up. And maybe it's because Britt's so skinny, but she seems to cop a buzz without drinking for hours, like maybe she's getting a contact high from my secondhand smoke. Our whole Lollapalooza is like a kind of beautiful classic romance that you would pay to jerk off to on the internet. But it's happening to me. And we're dating for 6 months, all the way through Christmas, through Britt moving her stuff into my apartment. And I keep expecting Britt to wake up sober one morning. And she still hasn't. We go to eat Thanksgiving at my mom's place, and I have to explain. It's not that Britt is a finicky eater, but the reason why she's so skinny is she only likes to eat a zucchini squash cut in half lengthwise and hollowed down the middle to make a miniature Iroquois dugout canoe with knife scratches on the outside that look like Indian writing, and a whole tribe of little braves carved out of raw carrot, but with green peas for their heads. Lined up and rowing the war canoe across a dinner plate covered with a thick layer of chocolate syrup. And you'd be surprised how many restaurants don't have that particular not on their regular menus. So most time, Brit has to make it herself, and that takes half a day. Like horny boners. And as fast as clobbering a slug bug, Brittany yanks something out of her pants and she yells, "Magic trick!" She swings this thing, shouting, "Puppet show!" And swinging from her hand is something on a little string. Like a tea bag. Only bigger. Really, it's more like a hot dog bun. Smeared with ketchup. Swinging on a little string. And Brittany screams, "Puppet show! Magic trick!" And she smacks it across the cheek of Romeo, who's still squatting down next to her seat. Britt chases after him, yelling and slapping his leather jacket with streaks of red. And the other Romeo's not looking at her on purpose now, fixing their faces to stare down at their shoes or to look out a window. She's swinging her little string to smack them upside their heads with red smears. The whole time squealing, "Puppet show! Magic trick!" Laughing, "Ha ha!" Shouting, "Puppet show! Magic trick!" The bus is ding-ding-ding to the next stop. And 100 passengers get off at the 7-Eleven, pushing and stampeding off the bus, like they all need to buy Slurpees. She leans over the bar, all confidential, and she whispers, "Just between you and me," she whispers, "Michelob makes my pussy hurt." The first time I learned that joke, when my old man taught it to me, I didn't know what was pussy. I didn't know making fin. I didn't know what folks meant when they talked about fucking. But I knew all this talk, that it made my old man laugh. And when he told me to stand up and tell that joke in the barber shop, it made the barbers, every old man reading detective magazines laugh until half of them blew spit and snot and chew tobacco out their noses. Now, tonight, the grown-up son tells his old dying father this joke, just the two of them alone in that hospital room late at night, and guess what? This old man doesn't laugh. So the son tries another old favorite. He tells the joke about the traveling salesman who gets a phone call from some farmer's daughter he met on the road a couple months before, and she says, "Remember me? We had some laughs and I was a good sport." And the salesman says, "How you doing?" And the farmer's daughter says, "I'm pregnant, I'm gonna kill myself." And the salesman, he says, "Damn,